Lara, which is an incredible piece of new technology, both for professional translators but also for enterprise. It's been designed not to be a replacement of human translators, but the machine is so intelligent that not only can translate, but also can express its limits.
Hi, I'm Jan. Today I'm joined by Marco Trombetti, entrepreneur, linguist, and co-founder of Translated. Welcome on the show, Marco.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me, Jan.
Before we talk about AI, I wanted to mention one thing. You are also a sailor. Last year, you raced around the world in a low-tech, human-powered boat, the Translated 9, as part of the Ocean Global Race. No GPS, no autopilot, just humans and the sea. Today, we will talk about Lara, and I would love that you start with a brief explanation. What is Lara, and why do you think that human translators are more important than ever?
Jan, thank you. You just reminded me the great adventure that we completed about 1 year ago. I had the bad idea of thinking that I would go around the world for 150 days, remove every technology from myself, and I will come out with a conclusion. Now, that plan didn't work for that, because as soon as I got on the boat, I think that my only goal was to survive. Even if during the race I didn't get any great idea, for some reason, when I came back, my mind was so open, and we started thinking with the team and some of the people, maybe the atmosphere that was created, some great idea came out, and we shipped Lara, which is an incredible piece of new technology, both for professional translators but also for enterprise. And Lara, what it is that basically combine machine translation architecture with LLM architecture. So LLMs are good because they're fluent, because they're very flexible. You can ask things, but they make a lot of hallucinations, which in translation is absolutely unacceptable. And on the other side, you have translation models that make very small hallucinations, but they're very rigid, they're very literal. So you don't like that style. And so if you combine the two, you get the reasoning, the fluency of the language model, and the low hallucination of machine translation. Now, if I say like this, it looks like a pretty obvious idea, but it came, and we managed to create this new architecture. And once we got it, we realized there was another potential that we had, is that the machine is so intelligent that not only can translate, but also can express its limits, and explain you why they translate in one way. And if he has a doubt, because a term is ambiguous, he can actually ask you to disambiguate that meaning. And so the reason why not everyone use machine translation today, obviously because in some languages it's very poor, but in some languages where it's very good, the problem is not really that extra small quality increase. The problem is that you don't know when it's good and when it's bad. That's why machine translation, you cannot rely on machine translation because you don't know. And now with Lara instead, Lara is able to explain what she did, and so you gain trust on the output. And so in many interactions, that is extremely important, because you see one results, and if the machine tells you why she used that term, you see the rationale, you say, good move, and you go on. You don't waste time anymore. You know when you can trust the machine, and when you cannot, you can go there and provide information, or simply edit that translation, or maybe not change the source so that it does. So that is what Lara is. It's a new model. It's available today, laratranslate.com, for end users. So not only professional translator, you can use it as an end user. And you can use it also as a professional translator in MateCat. You go there, you upload the document, you pick Lara as an engine, and Lara, it manages context of the full document to translate each sentences, and can adapt directly as you provide input. So those capability of correction is that every single correction you do, boom, Lara learns and follow you. So for professional translators, it's lovely because it follows you. It's your digital companion. It's been designed not to be a replacement of human translators, but actually your digital companion that goes with you, learn from you, and try to do the work for you, so that pushes you, if you want, as human, a professional translator, to do better. Because the basic stuff is done, and now they force you in a certain way to think more about the nuances, the human touch of the language that is always there.
Marco, many of our viewers might know DeepL. And when I come to Lara, the impression I get is this is DeepL. Explain, what is the difference? What is the difference between you and DeepL or Google Translate?
Lara, first, is trained on real translation projects. So Lara is extremely good at translating what typically people have to translate in the localization industry. So all the other systems, including Google Translate, are designed for user-generated content. So, content that very like news, etc., that you consume. This content is not designed to be translated. So they're good at translating those things, but very, very bad at translating highly professional content that you may need. So first, in the use, you will find that it will translate well better than anyone everything that is designed for professional translation for the translation industry. Then the second thing is Lara, as I said, is able to explain its choices. So you translate a sentence and Lara will tell you, hey, look, I used this word because I understand that you mean this in the source. And so she shows you that she understood the context in your intent and why pick a certain term. And obviously then the big difference with Google Translate, for example, is that they handle, and also DeepL, they handle context. So not only if you copy and paste the document, it will use the full document as context, but also you can manually add some context. You say, I'm talking about tennis. And so the machine will just use different terminology just because you provided some context. And before, what you had to do, and you had to do some custom data, some translation memory, fine-tune the model, etc. Now today, you just provide a small context information. It's like the super easy version of a style guide, and concise and straightforward. And you can ask Lara to do these things, which are things that typically professional localization people need to do. So we're bringing the power of localization, the sophistication of localization to everyone. That's the idea.
Marco, you mentioned in a recent article in Multilingual magazine, you mentioned the term symbiosis. And I think this is what we are talking about. But what role has the translator in all this?
When I think about Lara and professional translators, I always think about CAT tools first. It's a tool that they can use in order to get help in the translation process, making less error, getting, not having to do a lot of terminology research because you can understand what's happening, etc. So first is designed as a tool now, but in general, AI is changing a lot, the dynamics of translation. We are in one phase of interaction between translators and AI, which is the productivity phase. So people usually to do something like light post editing. So it means, okay, I produce more, quality will be worse, but I do 20 times more. And some other people said, no, I just use that suggestion as an help to get even better quality. So same amount of time, but 3 times less errors. And so this created an opportunity that diversified the market in terms of offering. And so we can offer now from super light human review to the super multilingual copywriting services, with translation, multiple steps of review, and then a final copyright, all supported by AI. So created a new services that in this phase is the hyperproductivity phase. Mm-hmm. And this phase will end at one point, okay? This theoretical point in which, the machine output will be so good that no translator can improve it. If you provide infinite context to translation AI, to machine translation, with a lot of data, a lot of computation, a lot of reasoning and interactions, agentic interaction, to grab all the information possible, more than any human will ever receive in their life, and a computation that is similar, at one point we could get to the point where the output of the machine is so perfect, then most of us will not be able to improve it. So potentially, at one point, we could get to that theoretical point. As I said, I haven't seen it, okay? So, but I see the pattern for that. That is a moment where we get into autonomy mode. And while we're getting into autonomy, there is certain things that are happening already right now. And so if today, most of the people will basically buy translation, professional translation that is with AI behind. So there is always a first pass of AI and then corrections. At one point, we may go to, hey, I'll do machine translation of all my content, and then I'll just pick certain things where the machine is not 100% sure. The machine is able to interpret its own results and say, I have some ambiguity here. Because you mentioned the name of this person, you didn't tell me if it's a male or a female. Would you like me to use the adjective as a male or female, or trying to be gender neutral? You see? And so the machine can stop and say, everything is done by machines, and then certain thing goes to us. This is possible, and we really just redirect the machine in the right direction. But this is one area that is happening. The other area that is happening is that instead of translating everything, what we take the data, we ask the machine, and we can already today say, hey, what is the kind of content where you have more problems with? And you synthetically generate the problems that the machine have, and then we translate those information for them. I hope I didn't scare you with this idea of autonomy, but I think it's very, very, very important that we understand that there will be a time in the future when this may happen. And if we know that may happen in the future, then we know how to capture the opportunities for now and the future.
Just like on a boat, tech without a human at helm is lost. Thank you, Marco, for reminding us that AI isn't replacing translators. It's waiting to be led by them. If you work in translation or localization, this is your time to lead. Subscribe for more conversations like this and check the links below to learn more about Lara, Marco's work, and how to work with AI, not against it. Thank you for watching.